Yeah, you know I'm on my, hey, you know I'm on my, hey, you know I'm on my, hey, 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 yeah, I don't never lose, nah, all I do is win, hey, hey, I don't never lose, yeah, all I do is win, hey, hey, this week on earth, 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 hey, hey, hey.
Welcome back to This Week on Earth. This week on Earth, we are going over a topic that hits home for a lot of people, which is men's mental health. It's a topic that, in years past, not a lot of people have touched on, but it's something that you see more and more every day. People are getting more comfortable about it. Can't talk today, but it's something that we feel comfortable talking about. And something that needs to be talked about, frankly. But first, as always, we're going to do This Week on Earth in History. I have some interesting ones today. On May 11th, 1981, Bob Marley dies of cancer. Gone way too soon. In his prime,
I thought it was a foot infection.
I thought it was cancer.
Oh.
Yep. Bob Marley was... I've listened to some podcasts on Bob Marley, and he was a cool guy, but he had a lot of touch of gangster in him, for sure.
He grew up. No.
Yeah, I know. His upbringing, yeah. It'd be hard not to have a touch of gangster with his upbringing, for sure. But there's some cool stories about him. Some people shot up his crib one time, and he was supposed to have this concert the next day, and everybody was like, "Yeah, you need to cancel the concert. A bunch of heat on us." But he ended up having the concert and opened it up with War, his song War, and basically was taunting the people that, shot up his crib. So it was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool story. You should check it out for sure. This one is interesting to me. May 13th, 1637, the table knife was invented.
Butter.
It didn't make our inventions list, our draft list, but they made it. The end was rounded so that people would stop using knives to pick their teeth at dinner. Yep. Apparently back before 1637, they used to take the
steak knife.
I mean, I don't know if they had steak knives, but some kind of knife, and they'd pick their teeth with it at dinner, and it was a not so attractive thing. So the guy who made this said, "You know what? I'm gonna solve that damn problem," and he made it a round in, and the rest is history.
And everybody just went along with it?
I guess. I mean,
must have been a powerful man to just change silverware up like that, and
Change the
everybody
dinner
started
scene.
following it.
yeah.
Now everybody in America had to buy another piece for the kitchen for everybody that came over to eat.
You see that new fork that new knife that just came out?
Yeah, right.
Yo, Pete, this.
There wasn't in America yet. I mean, it was here, but
I was getting ready to say the land was there.
The land was here. But anyway, May 14th, 1998, Seinfeld aired its last episode. It's kind of like Friends to me. I didn't watch it. I'm not into it, but a lot of people are.
Wale is.
Yeah, it was a big show.
Song about nothing.
It was a huge show. At the time, especially, it was.
Oh, my dad loved it.
The number one show, I'd say.
Kramer cracked my dad up all the time.
I've seen bits and pieces that were funny, but it's just not something I ever got into before my time.
Comedians hold Jerry Seinfeld at a high regard. So
yeah,
I would say he did something right.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably-
stand up was funny though.
He
Seen a
could
lot
probably
of that.
cook.
Yeah. What?
He could probably cook.
He could probably cook. He can drive a car on Netflix.
Yes, you can.
Yep.
With celebrities and coffee.
Yep. May 14th, 1973, Skylab, the first U.S. space station, was launched.
Did it succeed?
I believe so. It didn't say it was launched and failed. It said it was launched.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I knew Nick was going to have something to say about this. Nick is a bit skeptical of all things space.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the fucking moon.
Well, I just don't get why lie about it, really.
To beat the Russians and make Russia look not superior?
I guess. Was Russia lying too, though? Was Russia?
Probably.
So we were just both lying at each other, and
I mean, to be completely honest, if you're a country and your heritage passes down the last name Putin and you don't change it, I don't trust you.
my last name is Pugh, and that's
That's gangster. It's all right.
I don't know about that. I don't know about gangster, but I remember the kindergarten days. People were like, "Run, P.U.," and that was always fun to deal with.
Damn, that's fucked up. Everybody should
as
have
a
a black-
6-year-old, 5-year-old, whatever. Yeah, I made it through it. I wear my last name proudly now. And May 14th, again, what a day in history. Seinfeld, Skylab, and Lewis and Clark made their expedition to the Pacific coast.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out Lewis and Clark. Yep.
The Thug Thizzle.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people these days like do the Appalachian Trail and like they're not going down in history. You know what I mean? Like I get it, it was like the first time, but like imagine going down in history for hiking.
They hiked a long way.
I mean, people hike the whole trail, the Appalachian Trail, or people hike from like Mexico to Canada. That's a long way. That's common now.
But it's different.
It was the first time.
This was unexplored land that you had no idea
them,
about,
yeah.
and no GPS and no,
No, I get it. It's OG. It's they get, but I'm just saying they went hiking.
They on a long hike in 1804. It's a bit different.
But
They had a
still,
purpose. I mean, they had an end goal to explore and find new territory. It wasn't
I'm
like
sure somebody did it before them, but wasn't doing it for a reason. They just did it. And then
Probably the people that
they
made the
died.
pyramids.
Nobody found out about it.
I'm just saying, no, it could have been something like somebody was just like, man, ain't nobody over there. Let's go see what's over there. And just some random family just packed
See how
up.
far we can walk.
Yeah, and they just did it. They didn't like make it a thing. But they went in the books for hiking.
Yep. And claiming land for America.
Yeah.
So, yep. Without them, we might not have Snoop
Somebody
Dogg.
would've did that shit.
We might not have
Somebody
Snoop
somebody
Dogg.
would have went walking, bro.
We would have Snoop Dogg with like a New York accent.
Somebody would have went walking.
I don't know if I could get behind Snoop
Right.
Dogg's New York accent. That's wild.
He's a California dude. I mean, up, down in the Chrysos.
They had horses and stuff, bro. Like
Nobody? Okay. That's fine.
You lost me on that one, Flair.
I lost you on a Snoop Dogg
it's not
reference
like
about
horses
Chrysos.
weren't invented or something. I mean, I get it. It's dope, but I mean, come on.
Yeah,
History.
okay. They're only taught in schools and in history books and a major expedition, the major expedition that you taught about. But that's fine. Sacagawea.
I
right?
mean, the first people that jumped on a boat and came over here are way more brave than that to me.
Is that where Sacagawea came from?
Yeah.
I've been sitting here
Sacagawea.
trying to refrain from saying John Smith and Pocahontas and Sacagawea, but Sacagawea was the Indian that was given to Lewis and Clark to help her lay the land so she could tell them how to survive because they had no clue how to put stick to stick and eat what berries were what. For sure, Sacagawea and Lewis Clark.
He said John Smith and Pocahontas. He's been refraining from saying that.
Yeah, because yeah. Tonto and shit.
I don't know about Tonto. I mean, the name sounds familiar, but they all kind of blend together. No disrespect. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. That's a good song. All right. that's this week on Earth and History. Some fun ones, interesting stuff. We went to space.
Allegedly.
Supposedly.
I'm a believer. The moon landing thing, I kind of could see it, I guess, but I don't know. Anyway, I did a poll on my Facebook about the moon landing, and the people who think that it's real vastly outweigh the people who think that it's not real that voted anyway. I get like 200 views on a story and I get like 20 votes, but still percentage same. But anyway, to the topic at hand today, or this week, I should say, which is men's mental health. As we said before, it wasn't talked about a lot, and now it's coming out more. You see it more in the news, especially lately. We've got Will Smith that came up. That was a huge thing. And then we obviously have Johnny Depp now, which is arguably even bigger than the Will Smith thing. You see it all the time. I mean, it's all over the place. Very interesting stuff, really. But it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. I feel as if I think that I might be different than the majority here, but I think that I'm more with the majority everywhere, and where my mental health issues, like I've gone through pretty recently, I went through a depression. I won't say it wasn't anything major. I just was kind of down, and I went through that, but I have no root cause of it. I have anxiety pretty big time, like to the point where I can't stand going to eat at a restaurant. I just feel sick to my stomach, and I don't like being in crowds of people. And I've really turned into an introvert, which is kind of funny because, I used to DJ and I bartended, and, but now I'm like, I would rather stay at home all the time besides work, obviously. But I don't have a root cause to mine. Like I can't pinpoint where mine came from. Some people have a traumatic event or, a rough upbringing or something like that, you can kind of pinpoint and say, this is why I am the way that I am. But me personally, I don't have something that I can go back to and say, this is why I went through that. And I think the majority would feel that way. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like in men, especially, it's just something that you don't know about. And everybody's heard, you should go to therapy. I'm sure everybody here's had that said to them, like, you should try therapy out.
I hear more of suck it up than I do you should go to therapy, though, is the thing.
Interesting.
I mean, I've done the therapy thing.
Yeah. And that's good to have that perspective, because I have not. Even when I was at my lowest point, that was the last thing on my mind. Even talking to my friends, like I've talked to Bauer about it before. I've talked to all you guys about it before. And everybody's always like, of my friend group anyway, is always like, if you ever need to talk to me, hit me up or whatever that is, and it's just the last thing on your mind in a situation like that, or it's like something that you don't want to do, even if it is your best friends in the world. It's not something that I'm going to just be like, yo, I need to text my homie about this. I need to be like, yo, I'm in a depression. I just need to talk to somebody. It's just something that when I was at my lowest, it's just something that I didn't want to talk about. Like it's not that I was trying to avoid it. It's just the last thing that crossed my mind for me. And so with therapy, my thinking on this, and y'all might be different, but my thinking on therapy is I don't want to go to someone that doesn't know me and for them to say, okay, let's hear your, which I don't really know how it works either, but let's hear your life story. Let's hear what happened to this. Let me hear this and that. And then be like, I say, I don't have a good example, but I say something that's like, they say that's where
dog.
You're probably right, but I'm just saying this is my mentality. I don't want to go to someone and have to tell them all my information and then be like, that's why you are the way you are, or like maybe it comes from this, and I know that it doesn't come from that, and so that's my take on it.
They don't tell, therapy does, they don't tell you anything. It's always an ask and an analysis. It's never a tell.
That's good.
And unbiased. I mean, an unbiased person who has no beneficial gain besides monetary value from being and doing their job, and helping somebody get through what they're going through. It's way better than having a yes man or a yes woman that's just concerned about you in general, that just says, I hear you, I understand, I'm so sorry, but doesn't truly like psychologically know how to break it down, analyze it, and turn it into something that can be utilized to advance you beyond it, or to be able to mitigate any further issues. But therapy was hard well, it wasn't hard. It was to get to the points where you would actually go. It was a very tough decision. But again, my decision to go to therapy was not just with mental health. I mean, battling alcoholism was another reason why I went. And I mean, so it was a 3-in-1 situation going to therapy for me.
So you would say you had a good experience?
Absolutely. I mean, it was great. I mean, I was able to articulate myself in there. I knew what my issues were going in there. I just didn't. It was more along the lines of figuring out why I couldn't get a grasp on all of those things and like nip them in the bud and like put my foot down on myself and mentally to get those things to not control me anymore. I went into therapy knowing what my problems were. Just not, I officially got to the lowest point that I could be at in my life without, like, I was lucky enough to make the decision to stop drinking and go to AA and go to therapy and quit drinking and become sober before I lost my job, ruined my marriage, got a DUI, or hurt somebody. I was lucky enough to make that decision to get my life together and stop battling my demons before I hit like when people say they hit rock bottom, they literally like something traumatic, like major has happened. Like my bungee cord caught me right before I smacked that sumbitch, and I was like, okay, cool. Whew, all right, bet I can. We're not getting that close to that situation no more. So it was going in there knowing what my issue was, just trying to talk about it and not talk to Brittany about it. No, I didn't want to not talk to Brittany about it. It was just, she knew, but yet at the same time, she was having all of the negative impacts of my issues being with me 24/7. And it was just like talking to her about it. She was living it, but she couldn't get me past it because obviously I was still drinking myself to the bottom of a bottle every day.
Yeah.
So there was some professional essence that needed to be done. But again, she hit me with a 5150. I mean, she called the cops on me when I had a loaded pistol in my mouth and I had to go spend 14 hours in a hospital. They had me on suicide watch, and that's not the only time I've shucked my pistol and put it in my mouth and put it up against my head. So, I mean, that's happened numerous amount of times. And there's been moments that I have not wanted to be alive. A lot of them, a shitload of them. I mean, there's been, when you think about, take a single thought as an aspect, like a single tally is for a single thought. I have thought about not being alive more than I've thought about remaining alive. If you get the concept of having a thought of being dead or staying alive, I've thought about being dead more than I've said, oh, I want to be alive. I've said I would rather be dead more times than thinking I'd like to be alive. Because when you go through a depressive state or any type of situation, when you're not depressed, you don't unless you're like on top of the world and you're just so thankful and blessed to be alive every day, which I am today. But you know, you don't tally, oh, I woke up this morning saying I choose to be alive today. You don't tally that.
Yeah.
You just do it and you thrive in the day. But when you have these manic depression moments where you're like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to work. I don't want to get up. I'd much rather just not even be here. Fuck it. Let's go. I had a lot more of those moments than I'm alive today. I'm going to stay alive today. Now,
Yeah.
That's previous. That's post new Tyler, which is nice. But
yeah, we're very thankful there is, which I would say an old Tyler to me. I mean, I've known you since middle school, and to me, your old Tyler, the one that you speak of, was new Tyler, and you're back to yourself.
Oh yeah.
And I for sure am extremely thankful for all that you've accomplished. Why don't you tell the folks at home where you stand with your sobriety?
Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
How many days has it been since December 16th, 2021?
It was 143 days ago.
I've been sober for 143 days.
That's what's up.
Not a single sip alcohol, nothing besides allergy medicine, prescribed ADHD medication, no pot, no opiates, no nothing. I haven't even indulged in psychedelics or any other recreational drug or anything. I have been straight edge since that day.
Hell yeah. You should be
Heck
super
yeah.
proud of that. Yep.
I am. My wallet's happy too.
Big
I
facts.
bet. I bet. We're all proud of you for sure. So that kind of opens up, to people watching who've never experienced therapy and probably have a mindset similar to mine, where it's just like I have no interest in going and putting myself out there, to someone who has an extremely positive and successful, experience with therapy, and a needed one at that, for sure. I told Bauer plenty of times I thought that he should do it, even when I thought that I would never do it. I just thought that, there was only so much that I could do as a friend to Bauer, to help him out, where we don't live near each other anymore. So it's not like I can go to his house and say, get your shit together, and it just doesn't work like that. That's like Gage saying, people say, suck it up or get your shit together or whatever. And that's just as a friend,
Works.
yeah, it's not how it should work anyway. That's how a lot of people think when it comes to men, especially. I'm not saying that women don't deal with those same, standards of get your shit together or, suck it up, and you got kids to, be there for, and you got everybody's got reasons to live or reasons to be a better person, but it's just not that simple. And so as a friend, I feel like there's rightfully there is a breaking point, as far as being there as a friend for someone who's in a depression. And sometimes they need that extra, that therapy session or that therapist or someone to talk to who knows what the hell they're listening to and knows what to, how to get you in the right spots. So interesting. And I will consider that next time, or hopefully there isn't a next time, because I'm much better today than I was 6 months ago. But I'll definitely consider Bauer's testimony to it for sure. Have either Nick or Gage, have y'all ever been to therapy at all?
I went like one day.
Yeah.
Back when I was like 18 or something. I just like with mine, it was always like I talked to Bauer about this. Because me and Bauer's brain, I feel like is real similar, the way that we think and how it just don't stop ever. And when I was like 18, I was like trying to trying to do college and had a relationship and felt more grown than I was, I guess. So like pressure. And then my brain was just overactive, like just every day. And it was like paranoia, not paranoia. It's hard to explain. It was just like I was always on my toes. I felt like I
Yeah.
didn't get a break.
Not like you're looking over your shoulder, like
Yeah.
the cops outside or
It's
something.
just like, yeah, I
right?
could be driving. What if this happens? What if this happens? And then I'll be like, and then I'm thinking how I'm gonna
Just
fix
in
it.
your head,
It's-
kind of thing. Like,
yeah, constantly,
constantly.
all day. And
Yeah.
I'm still like that. But at this time, it was just like I was getting tired of it. Like it's tiring. It's mentally tiring to be like that. And
Being proactive instead of reactive at all times.
it like still to this day, I'm walking down the street. What if this happens? I got a plan. And I like that about me, but it's tiring. And so like I went to the doctor, they put me on like trazodone or something like that. One of them things. And that made me feel like a blob. And the whole thing was like, do that and then talk to a therapist. And then I was still trying to make music, and then I couldn't make music on the medicine. It was like, that's how I felt. I felt like that part of me was like a gift and a curse. And I had to either choose to keep it or give it up. And they ultimately in the end, I chose to keep it. And at the time, I didn't know what that was, but now it's anxiety. I mean, now that like people talk about it, it's just anxiety. I have panic attacks. I've had multiple. I had one at Gage's house, my first one. Peasy was there. Bauer, I don't know if you were there.
Probably not.
And like, it was like my cousin had just died. It was at the crib. I remember like it was yesterday at the crib. I remember sitting there and I was just, again, my brain was just thinking about, and it wasn't even like, it's crazy because it was more so like, dang, my grandma has to bury her grandson. So then I start thinking like that. And then it just don't stop. And then like my left arm starts going numb. My heart starts beating real fast. And I'm like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm about to die. So then I tell them I don't feel good. Just go to the bathroom. Cause like that goes back to the point I was embarrassed. When like, I don't know why, because I know they would have helped me. Like they would have did whatever they could have to help me. But for whatever reason, I was like, can't let nobody see me like this. And so I went to the bathroom, crawled in the bathtub, ran the water and stuff. I ended up passing out in Gage's bed, like soaking wet. Passed out for what, a couple hours or something. Woke up, just didn't even know what really happened. And that was the first time it happened. And now then I like started, like they started happening a couple more times. And then I had to like figure out how to overcome but my curse, my anxiety kind of helped me figure out how to stop them though. Like you said about being proactive. So it's like a gift and a curse. I don't know how to explain it. I don't deal
It's
with
overwhelming. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
I don't deal with death well. I don't deal with death of young people well.
Yeah, you've always had that correlation,
When a young person loses their life, I can't.
death doesn't affect me anymore. And that's something that's been part of my thing here with Brit and whatnot. It's like, or just in general, it's like I've pretty much like faced every single song of every single note of music, as they say, is facing the music. I've written off every death that I know I'm going to experience before my own. I've written it off already. I've already adapted to the idea of losing people. And I think that's one of those proactive traits that Toons is talking about now. I'm not proud of it. It eats at me knowing that, one day somebody important to me is going to die, and I'm going to be upset about it, but it's not going to, I'll still be stale about it. It's just like, I don't know what that is.
That's also like, you say you're like ashamed of that, but like at the core, that is the deepest, truest understanding of life. And I think that's why, me personally, I can't deal with it, because I like to have answers, bro. Like I need an answer. So what they're not, for me, somebody can't come to me and say, yo, this is the answer of what's after that. It bothers me.
Yeah,
I feel you.
it makes sense.
I'm a logical person, and like, so it gives me anxiety. I don't like walking into places that I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't like going places I don't know people. I've had the same friends for 15 years. Like, people always say that, like, oh man, you're so social. I'm really not. I don't vibe with people unless I know you. Like, unless I was drunk at a party or something. But if I'm like just naturally me, I don't go out and look for new people. It's never been my thing.
Yeah. I feel like I used to force it on myself to be sociable. I mean, y'all know me. I never wanted to go out really like that. Like, I remember when we lived in Harrisonburg, Nick and all my friends really, besides my roommates, he'd be like, we're going out to this party or that party, and I'd be like, yeah, I just don't want to do that. And sometimes I would go, but that just is something that I think I've always dealt with. And I go back, I think that I've always been self-conscious, whether it be, about my weight at a certain point in life, for sure. Middle school, early high school, I was a bigger kid. And so I was always self-conscious about that, my body image. But even just my personality, even I was always self-conscious about. And now I'm definitely more comfortable in my own skin. I don't care anything about my body image anymore. I'm 30 years old and I got the girl, and like I don't, it's just something I don't really give a shit about. I don't want to be, something that I'm not happy with myself, but it's just something that I think in school, a lot of that stuff mattered way more, and even on into the college years and, early 20s. But now the things that I used to care about, I don't care about as much, but something with that anxiety still sticks with me. Recently I had a panic attack, and Nick was there. We were at a rec basketball game, and I was so into the game at first, I didn't even realize where I was basically. I'm kind of comfortable in that situation where something's going on, but I got up, and when Nick came in, I said something to Nick, and then Nick came over to me and talked to me, and then all of a sudden I started feeling anxious about like how I just stood up and yelled in front of all these people, and like people probably heard that and people probably saw that, and I just started feeling anxious, and like I just shut down, and I sat there and I was pale and felt sick to my stomach, and like as soon as the game was over, I was like, I got to get out of here. Like I gotta leave. I didn't say bye to anybody. I told Tabitha, I'm like, I took the baby and I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm going to the car. So I get those moments, and I think that if I were to pick something that it stemmed from for me, I think it would be my early high school, late middle school years, where my anxiety started to where I started experiencing that. But anxiety is probably my biggest issue now. I'm trying to get past it by doing stuff like this. Like I said, being with your friends, something about that extra confidence it gives you that makes it much better for me. But it's something that I'm trying to get past, as far as being anxious and being self-conscious. I try not to think about those things, but yeah, panic attacks are not fun. Anxiety attacks are not fun. I don't wish them on anybody. So, Gage, you haven't been to therapy, and I know in your past you've been at what I would assess was a lower point than where you are now, I would say.
Mhm.
Talk about how you got past it on your own, or are working past it still on your own, and stuff like that.
Um, I would say I'm definitely still working on it. I
Yeah.
I did have help. Um, but at one point, I would say it started when a relationship ended with somebody. I
Mhm.
I think just the part of where I put everything into that relationship, and then after it was over, like it felt like I wasted everything that I had for somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So um I don't know. I definitely relate to a lot of y'all's stories, like just like the constant loudness when it's quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're alone, it's so loud.
Yeah.
And I know there for like 2 years, it was really rough for me personally. I lost a lot of weight and didn't talk to nobody. And that was part of like going back to what you said. Like it wasn't that people wasn't reaching out to me. It was
Mhm.
just I couldn't talk. I couldn't tell nobody about it. So um,
I think we all have that tendency as men to like retreat when something, like it's almost like a dog, go back and lick your wounds until you can feel like you can come back out. Like I do that all the time. Not like when that's now I can, I don't know. I started reading books, and for me, it wasn't even books about this like stuff that I was struggling with. It was just history, Robert Greene, Malcolm Gladwell type history interview statistics and stuff that just, and then some of the stuff they were talking about, how your brain works. And when somehow throughout readings like that, I was like, all right, my brain is mine. Let me try to figure out how to work it for me. So now I can feel when those moods are coming, because they still do come, but I feel like I control them a little bit better.
yeah.
And I'm like, all right, if I don't check this right now, I'm gonna be a recluse, and I'm gonna go into the stage where I don't know. It almost feels like you don't have nothing to offer. So like, what's the point of texting or picking up the phone right now? I really don't like. I don't feel like I can bring nothing good to you. So it's like whatever. And
Yeah.
let me get myself back together, and then I can come back out swinging. But like, I don't know. I think for whatever reason, men have a tendency to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would
Either
say I did that. I would say I'd kind of lock myself in my house and just kind of let go. I remember having thoughts of like, I wish it would stop and stuff like that. And the only times like the depression would leave was when my son was there, or somebody, my mom would stop by and check on me or something.
Yeah. Company is a great thing.
Yeah,
And
it took my mom like begging me to go to the hospital before I finally went. So,
yeah.
and that was like 40 pounds, 30, 40 pounds of lost weight because I wasn't eating, just like depressed.
Yeah. And you went to the hospital for that?
Yep. I just was getting sick, and it was mostly because I wasn't eating and doing like treating my body how it should be treated. I wasn't doing what I
Practically,
was
were you
supposed to
like
be doing.
malnourished and dehydrated, and
Yep.
you didn't have no nutrients or nothing?
And then they put me on depression medicine and stuff like that. They wanted me to go see a therapist, but I never scheduled an appointment.
Are you still on medication now?
Hmm.
Like, if you don't mind me asking, what did they prescribe you?
I don't even know what it's called. I'd have to look at it. It's in there.
Do you think that it's helped?
Oh yeah.
Is it daily, or is it one of those things like, oh snap, I'm feeling bad, take it now?
No, I just take it every day.
Gotcha.
And it has helped. I will say, like for me, my depression hit like right when COVID hit. So it was like a really bad time to be stuck in a house alone with nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think that COVID made a lot of people have anxiety today. Like everybody does, nobody likes crowds anymore. Like you see that all the time on
Yeah.
social media. I think COVID was the cause of that.
Yeah.
Everybody was stuck in a house, didn't have nowhere to go, nobody to talk to.
And in turn, a lot of the extroverts experienced a depression because,
The rug got pulled out from
I
under.
Right.
loved
Yeah.
COVID.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love the
Yeah,
I'm talking
I know
the
what you mean.
lockdown.
Yeah.
It was like a break that I needed. It was a reset that I needed
Yeah.
for me. Like,
Felt like a summer vacation from school.
Yeah.
but I mean, I had a lot going on personally,
Paid
like
summer
with
vacation.
I had my DUI that was like, I was struggling down in Danville, just again I felt like my personal situation has always been, and like everybody who knows me and every girlfriend that I've ever had knows that like I hold my friends to such a high caliber. Like it's like y'all can walk in my house. I've asked y'all multiple times. I Peasy at least 4 times since I've moved in 95. Yo, can you go by my house and make sure it's not on fire? And like he pulls up and he opens up the door. Like it is what it is. Like, and then like if anybody needs something, like I'm on the way. Like it is like it's and dang, I forgot what I
I
was
miss that so much. Side note, I miss being
What
in
was I
FC, able to like
Come on back.
it ain't that easy.
Come on
What was I
back.
about to say?
Just ease your way closer. You're a little bit closer than Charlotte already.
Oh yeah.
Greensboro next, and then next
And
thing
I
you
was-
know, you're in Ridgeway, and bada bing, bada boom, you're back.
I was struggling down in Danville because that was the point where that was a couple of years ago. That's right there when, we were all at the age of being grown. Like, and so like we all were busy. Like everybody was busy. And like now it's normal, we're all busy and we kind of like, but that was like, I feel like when it first kind of started and it was like trying to link up with people was really hard, especially me not living around anybody. It was more difficult. And then like I said, I don't make friends. I'm not with that. So the whole time, 2 years I'm in Danville, nobody came to my crib.
Yeah.
Like
I
didn't,
nobody
nobody
went.
well, no, no, I'm talking about people down there.
Oh,
Like I wasn't
right.
going out meeting friends like, yo, come over to my spot. And nah, because that would have made me feel worse. That would have made me feel mad anxious.
Yeah.
So like I was struggling and then I got my DUI on a day off. Just because like, I'm just like, didn't have nothing to do by myself, bro. Just like going out to the bar, sitting, drinking, went to my job to drink and eat, you know what I mean? Just bored and just and then it was just a low point for me. Couldn't wait to move back home. Like I was looking for, like I wanted to come back home so bad. And it was just like stuff was going on. And then that happened. And then COVID happened and it kind of let me relax a little bit.
Like you say, to me, not COVID, but quarantine was one of the best things that happened to me.
We all linked up. We were playing
We went-
Minecraft. We were playing like, it was
2K, and we
that's what I needed.
me and
was a
you
fun
went golfing,
all the
several
time.
times. Like literally twice a week we would go golf because we had this money that we were making, which was more than not more than what I was making at work, but as a whole, Tabitha and I together, we were making more,
With the stimmies, you're just living large.
with
from
the
it.
stimulus, and so like making more to sit at home and not have to work for 3 months was amazing to me. I started waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I know people on Facebook were about tired of my ass because I'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and be like, I got all this shit to talk about. Normally I'm busy. Like I used to wake up at like 10 o'clock because I worked nights. So I'd wake up at like 10 o'clock. Then I'd take a nap at like 1 because I had to be there till like 1 in the morning anyway. So my sleep schedule was funny like that because I never had time to be on Facebook like that. Like I would get on periodically, but I never had time to sit and think and be like, this is
No.
what,
But you know, another thing, I'm sorry.
it's
This
okay.
is just to get back to a little bit to the mental health thing that I
Yeah.
find really interesting. And I think y'all can attest to this. Even I drove down to see Bauer. I always hit Gage up when I knew he wasn't, I could tell like his vibes were off, you know what I mean? But also I was learning how to be there for another man in that moment as I was doing those, because we come from a generation of men that's not their strong suit.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're learning how to deal with our own shit, like the emotional shit, and then we're also dealing how to be there for our friends that are men in the same stride. So it's difficult, like, and I think it shows in our children though, like how I
Yeah.
talk, how I talk to Landon, how Gage talks to Eli.
Yeah.
We engage, have had these conversations. We talk about these things now at 7 years old, and how to manage them, and how to understand them.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna help out a lot. But that comes from you accepting, like when I remember I had my second panic attack, and like I told my mom about it because I was getting worried, and my dad's reaction was like he was scared for me.
Yeah.
But it came off like he was mad at me. But I was at a point where I understood where he was coming from. But that's the generation we come from too. I don't think they meant bad
Right.
by it, but they're just scared, and they don't know how to deal with it either, because they didn't have nobody to teach them that either. And that's what sometimes when I get scared and worried, I get mad. And not mad, but like it comes off like I'm angry, but I'm just scared.
Yeah.
And like I see that in him so I feel like he's actually they're learning too. I feel like all of us right now in this time and age are learning. But it's it's tough. Like when I went to talk to Bauer, I was like, I ain't got all the answers, man. I can't tell you what's gonna work for you.
Yeah.
But I can talk to you and I can listen to you. Like we went out, we were shooting basketball. He cooked dinner for us, but and then we would have these moments where we would just like playing basketball, and then we'd have these moments where shit would get real and we'd start talking, and then we'd have moments where we're doing something else, and it's just like that was new to me too. I don't know if that helped at all, but
Yeah.
it was
That was a key moment in the upcoming of what it was. When you left, the realization set in, because when you got there, like this is going to be my whole perspective on this situation is skewed because one, what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis with my wife's condition. So a lot of my issues come from where I just have high stress with her. But I was already pissed drunk before you and Mercedes got there. So then all you had was two tall boys when you got here. That's all I'd had for you. And then I was just drinking straight out the bottle. So, but that was when y'all left. Brittany said, that you told everybody, and you told me that when you had friends coming down, it was going to be a cool, calm time. And you still went and got drunk and started an argument and got fucking mad for no reason, just because you were drunk when people were here. And she was like, I get it. We argue, we fight, we're married, but we can conversate instead of you just getting belligerently mad. And it always happens because you're just pissed drunk. And that was one of those times, right? Because that was Mercedes was maybe 2-3 months out from Jay.
Yeah.
So like it was relatively close to the. I mean, it was you came and see me when I had the new house, so it was after July of last year, and that gives it like a 5-month, 4-month window when I got sober, but. It's just like that helped. It not in the. I mean, in the sense it did help having a conversation because I mean we opened up, we had good conversations that day, and it let me know I had a friend for sure. But in the essence of like being a milestone of like, yo, you're really fucking up. Like you're getting to the point to where you're going to just show terrible, terrible essence and vibe and aura to everybody because the only thing people are going to be able to see is the brown of the fucking bottle. So it's just like it helped in long term and in that moment term. And then in the grand scheme of things, it was relatively like a stepping stone that opened up my eyes more and allowed me to be like, wow, I can't thoroughly enjoy company coming over without just being civil.
But see, that was part of the thing too. And like, see, that shows like some people could say I was wrong for like when I knew, we all knew that you had a problem with drinking, right? I knew that before I came down there. But when you asked if I wanted a drink, I still said yes. Because my goal of that day was not to go down there and I know that I couldn't tell you what to do. So I feel like some people could have seen that with like me, like I'm just egging it along. Like, yeah, grab me 2 beers too, let's drink. But it was more so I know I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah, no, and you wouldn't have been able to tell me what to do. And I get
we would have just been
Yeah.
fighting. Like we would have been fighting.
No, I wouldn't have been
if I would have came down there and like jerked the bottle out your hand, be like, yo, you tripping, we'd have been fighting, bro. Like and I knew that wouldn't have fixed nothing. So it was like my goal was to do what I feel like we all need reminding at all time, and I feel like I do too, is that like you matter. Like, bro, somebody cares about you, bro.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's the most important thing. I feel like sometimes we get to feeling like, yo, if I just walked off this cliff, world keeps spinning, everybody be all right. And if you think that long enough, I feel like that can really mess you up.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
toxic. It's horrible. So I want to piggyback off of one little subject that I didn't get to interject in. With COVID and the quarantine, I was already transitioning in my job to working from home 3 days a week. So I was already only at the office 2 days. And then COVID, the stay-at-home order happened. We were on lockdown. They let us work from home completely. The only time I ever left was to go to the grocery store. And that's how I do it now, because now we're permanently from home. I have become so complacent with being comfortable in my home, being able to, make sure Brittany's okay, the dogs are okay, the house is never on fire. I don't have to check and make sure the toaster's been unplugged. I don't have to make sure that the washing machine's not overflowing and that, I've gotten so complacent with being home 24/7. Like I still have bad anxiety going to the grocery store because I think as soon as I've hit the road that the house has caught magical fire within 3 seconds of me leaving the driveway. The dogs have gotten in a fight. And so going to being introverted in my mental state inside the house, it is so the idea of a day trip or an idea of going to like doing anything outside of like an hour need to go to the store or go grab something outside of the store to eat. Just, I don't want to do it. I'd much rather be here at the crib. I don't leave the house. Like I filled up my tank maybe 3 weeks ago, still got a half a tank. And I know people are mad at gas prices, but I'm like, I got a hybrid. I can walk to the place I grocery shop. If I had 8 arms, I'd be Gucci. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like it. I like what you said, like quick, like 45 minutes. Like, yeah, I can do that. Like I'm fine socially doing this once a week. and then like, we got a group text going. I've been fine with that. Engage come through sometimes, pull up on me. That's fine with me. Like, or just see like
You get your
going out.
fill.
Yeah, going out for hours at a time now. It's just like I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially around a lot of people I don't know.
I've gotten to be where like there's so much I've brought everything to my house. Like I've always been like that with the studio and stuff like that. Like now I got t-shirts. I can order the t-shirts. They come straight to my door. I can build them right, print them right there. People pull up to the house, buy them. Like I ain't gotta go nowhere, bro. I work from home.
Yep.
I go to
run your
Riverside like
business
once a
from
day.
home.
Yeah, I go to Riverside once a day.
Yep.
Good.
Riverside's your go-to?
Yeah, it's right down the crib, right down the street.
I guess if they got all the things, I guess if they got what you need, that
expensive there,
doesn't matter as long as they got what you need.
Yeah,
Dr. Pepper and Grizzly.
that ain't really my steez, but I have been on that
wrong
stage a little bit.
person. Wrong person for the Dr. Pepper and Grizzly.
No, but
I
yeah,
don't
my
know what
friend,
Nick is drinking, but it ain't. I don't know. But
y'all were like, I had my low point back when I was like in the middle of making Broke famous and trying to do all that, and I started tying tapestries around my head and walking barefoot in the grass and climbing trees. And I had 2 hammocks, and I would just go out there. I had a journal. I just write my thoughts. It's just scribbled. This is wild, man. But
God,
Wait.
but you produce such good music.
but what
True.
kept me from losing my sanity was I had a house full of my friends constantly. And then I was still about to lose it. Because if you go back and listen to that music, sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, gosh, man, I was a sad dude. But what really saved me was when Bauer let us go to Cali with him. Like that and taking acid were like 2 of my twisting pivots in life. Like,
But I would also say that in California, you went through a depressive state as well. I don't know.
I did, but it wasn't like
it was
that was-
borderline. I mean, I'm not in your head, obviously, but I was there for your
that
first-
felt like
Game
that-
Changer music video was completely directed by you. I mean,
that felt like the
By who?
grind though.
Who directed it?
Tunes. He's the one that
Yeah,
thought
he-
about
I had a
hanging
dream
onto the
about it.
I
gutter
thought you were talking
first.
about me. I shot it and edited it, but
Yeah,
it
that
was
felt
all
like-
his idea and his vision. But
That was
felt
the
like
grind.
the grind. That's why it didn't feel as like that just felt part of the game to me.
yeah,
Like we gave it a shot and probably didn't go as hard as we should have, but it wasn't like I was sad about that caused anxiety about coming back and feeling like a failure. It wasn't like the time out there was tough. It was hard, but getting those couches, man, those wins, I was so like we had so many good times out there
It's a
that
hit.
yeah, it was hard. That's
I would
life.
never
Like,
trade that experience for anything.
for nothing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that
It
wasn't
made
that wasn't a dark time for me.
It made me who I am.
Can y'all
honestly.
is there feelings in the air or smells that remind you of like when we
All the
touched down and
time.
saw Palms 126? Like I remember
time.
walking up and seeing the empty ass apartment. It was like, yo, there's that. There's
we ain't
that.
got nothing for this place except for two
Told her we were
toilets.
scientists that was working on a new tattoo ink or some shit like that.
But speaking
Not-
of this though, sorry to cut you off, but at this point, the 3 of us were there, but Gage was still at home. And I
Yeah, how'd
remember
that
Gage,
feel?
I remember Gage went through a phase where he was like, all my friends are leaving because like really we were his 3 we were literally at Gage's house together all the time. I mean like all the time. Or at
See, I
Bauer's
feel
house.
like that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like that was that wasn't a moment for me because I was still surrounded by friends. Even though things were hard, I was still surrounded by friends. So I feel like that could have been something for Gage more so than us.
Yeah. I mean, I probably got depressed or whatever for like a few months just because I didn't have y'all here anymore. But during that time, I was also having a kid, and
Yep.
that brightened my life. Like I said, he's the one that saved me from this depression. So he saved me from
Yes,
both of them in a way.
Shout out Fila.
Yep. Good dude.
Apparently, he's a baller.
He is a baller,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
there were other things in Cali that I was upset about that wasn't like I didn't feel like I wasn't like it wasn't going inward.
Yeah.
I'd say for now, the one like currently is harder, or like just the past couple years. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm at this age where I'm 30 now, and my kids asking me like why I don't have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, family, and I feel like I'm not ready personally. But y'all are talking about y'all hate to go out, and I'm at this stage where I'm kind of having to force myself to go out to meet people
Yeah.
just because you can't meet anybody no other way.
Right.
So I feel like I'm kind of stuck in this spot right now. Almost.
Yeah. I totally understand that.
That makes a total sense.
Yeah. That's a hard position to be in. It's
Like I'm the guy that doesn't have a kid. Gage is the one without a steady. Well, no offense, no, not a steady relationship, like a continuous. Like we all
current
live with our
relationship.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
current relationship.
And I tried.
I know you
Like,
have absolutely.
I tried with like, I would say in like the past 2-3 years, I've tried with 2 girls, and I just wasn't ready. Like I probably did something to one of them that I regret. Like I told her I'd go out on a date with her and just never showed up. I felt bad about that, but I just wasn't ready at that time. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But when you go like relationship like stuff is that stuff's hard because like one, if you're in a relationship that's like a deep relationship and it lasts for a minute, you've given a part of yourself to somebody, and then that creates anxiety all in itself.
Right.
And then
That's
it's
what I
like,
was saying.
and then it's like,
At the same time, I'll let you come back to this, but at the same time, my anxiety weighs on my relationship. And Tabitha has anxiety as well. Tabitha's gone through a lot. A lot of people know her story, but like I said, I can't go to a restaurant comfortably. That really is hard when you want, when half the relationship wants to have a date night, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable in that setting. So, we do it from time to time, but not nearly as often as she deserves to do it, because I'm just not in a place where I feel comfortable doing that. Like we'll do other things that, are off the grid. Like we went and played disc golf last week, and she enjoyed that, and we had a lot of fun. But to her, she likes to go out to restaurants, and she likes to, she does it with her friends from time to time, but every girlfriend deserves a date night. And I feel that also added to my depression at a point, because she's like, I don't feel like I'm getting enough from you. And I totally get that. She's 100% right. But at the same time, it's hard for me. I don't want to go to a restaurant. Like that gives me the most anxiety of all places. I feel more comfortable in Walmart with all those people than I do in a restaurant. I know it's weird.
I can't go in Walmart.
I feel you. Some people I went through a Walmart anxiety phase, and Tabitha had it too, and we went at the same time, and we kind of got over it together, because I was like, and we could probably do that with restaurants too, but like it's different, because at Walmart I'm not going and eating on a sick stomach. I'm going and forcing myself to be there. I'm not eating anything. But like when I get sick to my stomach when I'm in a restaurant and there's a plate of food in front of me and I can smell that, and I'm trying to force myself to eat it, I get nauseous, and then I'm like, I'm in a really bad spot then, because then I'm really in my head thinking about, and so it's hard for me, and I would love to get better at that, but I'm a long way off for sure. So
I get anxiety going out because I don't want to talk to people
yeah,
And it's like, and it's not because like trying to be rude or nothing. And it all goes back to how my brain works. Because literally, when I'm walking through the store or I'm walking through public, what people need to understand, like an example, I'll be walking through Walmart and in my head, I'm like jumping down the rails, boom, 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 and then there goes an Elvis cat pyramid over there, and then somebody's like, yo, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I'm in my own world, bro. And it's just like when they get interrupted, it's just I get anxiety because I'm not thinking about nothing, bro. Like it's just, somebody could be like, "What are you thinking about?" Nothing. Like I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you, bro. Like it's just so much. Like it's just,
I'm on a mission when I'm
yeah, bro. It's well that too. So like I'm thinking about something or like just all over the place, and then somebody interrupts me, and it just throws me off. And it's like I don't like seeing people. If I see somebody, I will avoid it just so I can continue what I'm thinking. And I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but it just throws me off.
I know I go through Food Line and people are like, Jesus Christ, what is his problem? Because I mean, I don't get me wrong. I say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, excuse me. Like I know how to like I have proper grocery store etiquette, but like I know exactly what aisle I'm going to. I will stand there at the end of an aisle and like hold my shit, like get up on it, like go ahead, go in front of me with your kid and your 7 kids behind you, and you're still looking at the charcoal. Go get your charcoal and go. I'm just anxious. What's my nickname, Tim?
Anxious Andy.
Yeah, like
let's face it, Bauer has always been high strung. We all know. I mean, if you know Bauer, you know this about Bauer since as long as I can remember. Bauer's just kind of been like hyper. I mean, like just he has a high strung mentality. So to pair that with an anxiety, I'm sure it's quite a sight for the stranger in Food Line. For sure.
Yeah, and that's another thing too with me. It's like that's weird with me, and people get really confused about me. I think of why they think I'm extroverted and stuff is like the way that I dress or the things that I wear. And it's like, but I understand that it could look like I do it for attention, but it's really like this right here. I felt naked before I put something on my head. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like, oh, let me tie this on here. So I know somebody's going to say what you got on his head. I would have been perfectly fine if nobody asked me what was on my head. But me personally, I feel safe. And so like my weird pants, I don't know. I got a connection with weird stuff. Like it makes me feel like me. So I put on some pants that I bought from a military supply that are tanker pants. And I'm gonna wear them motherfuckers to Food Line with some Birkenstocks and some socks on. Like
Long
and
Johns.
it looks and it will look like it may look like, oh, he wants some attention, but it's really just no, that's I feel comfortable like that. I don't know what it is.
I'm not here to impress anybody. I am out getting my stuff and my attire.
I say, what is it? What did I say, Bauer? I ain't do nothing special, but feel the height. Feel the height.
Anybody ghostwriter, I'm here.
Well, we've covered a lot for sure.
I mean, there's so many facets to it, you know.
Absolutely.
Right.
I don't want to exclude myself and call my situation special because everybody's is special. It's just, you know, I have some unique scenarios and situations that cause my anxiety and my issues to be prominent in my day to day, and, you know, a big part of my life. You know, the last 4.5 months, I've gained my knowledge of my issues, my depression, like the things that I had going on with my mental health were always apparent, and they've been apparent, and I've suppressed them so long with abusing alcohol. And now that I'm actually cognitive and I'm able to like function as a normal person, as I like process this information instead of just being McAsshole, whoever I was. I have a bunch of nicknames for myself, but I have learned so much about what I was doing to myself. And I mean, I have memories of the last like 8 years or so, but it's been a blur because it's
Can
just I've been I've been a walking BAC of 0.25 for 4 or 5 years now.
can we try something before we get off of here, or one of y'all try it? Because all right, so do y'all think I'm different than I used to be? All right, so play this game with me. I think all of us were different. I think Peasy changed a little bit when we moved back from Cali and he had his work from home job. For some reason, I feel like he changed a little bit.
Dispatch.
Gage
with that shit too. No notice, no
Gage-
nothing. I said I don't have enough.
Gage
That's what I
changed.
was at a low point then too, because I was
Gage
going
changed
stir crazy.
when he had Fila. Bauer, you changed to me after the kid got shot in your front yard. When do y'all? I think it got.
I changed for the first time when I realized that I had to provide for myself. Like when I became a true independent, like bought my house and moved and lived bought my first house and I had nobody, nothing. That's when I really changed. I felt like that was the moment that I changed into like a grown man. But my real first traumatic, like that sent me over the edge, was when Brittany had that grand mal seizure in the hospital and almost fell out in the hospital. That one fucked me up pretty good.
Well, when do y'all think?
Homeboy getting shot was pretty traumatic too.
When do y'all think? Can anybody else do that for each one of us?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think it's just interesting to hear from someone else's point of view. And then, like you said, like, oh, I mean, you noticed that at that time?
I think Bauer has been on a gradual change. I don't know when to call it for Bauer. It's kind of hard to pinpoint it because when we were in Cali, Bauer drank, you know.
No, yeah, but it wasn't like it was.
It wasn't like it was, but he drank pretty. I mean, it wasn't like he.
Well, I'm saying when I lived in Fincastle, I had that big collage of liquor bottles when I was living by myself in Fincastle.
It wasn't about drinking that I'm talking about that he changed. I'm talking about when I would call him, the way he talked, the way that he.
Yeah. I think that started. I think he's right for himself. I think when he got to Charlotte, and I'm not gonna say he got in with the.
It's
wrong
not a right or
crowd.
wrong. This is
I
just
know.
like when I noticed it.
I feel you. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna say he got in with the wrong crowd. I lived with Bauer in Charlotte for about a month or two. I didn't stay long. Charlotte just wasn't for me. That wasn't my area. I was kind of homesick and just wanted to go home. Truth be told. Plus, I wasn't making a ton of money out there, but I wasn't spending a lot of money, so that's really not a good excuse. I just really, honestly, Charlotte wasn't for me. But I think then I started notice changes after I left because the people he was hanging around with, his neighbors, he would go there and drink all the time. And then he had the roommate come in and, that was like a drinking buddy for him. Cause Bauer, I wasn't like a drinking buddy for Bauer. Like I would drink from time to time, but I'm not a drinker.
No, when Jay lived with me, we were smashing alcohol.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that you were doing the majority of the smashing of the alcohol. He was just there to be there.
He couldn't keep up at
right.
all. He was there for the free shots he got. Shout out to Jay. No offense on him at all, but
no, he was cool.
He would take a shot, and then I'd take like 6. I'd take 6 to 1.
Yeah. So I think that was the turning point for Bauer when I actually started noticing like a major dip. I had been saying for years to all my friends, to Bauer and to y'all, where I'm like, we got to do something about Bauer. Bauer's going down this path, like blah, blah, blah. So that's when I noticed it for him. For Gage, I think that Gage's change was his breakup that he speaks of. I think that that's when it started going, because it was a pretty abrupt, abrupt breakup. I can't hear you, Nick. I think you're muted.
That would be my pinpoint moment for Gage. Again, I've been gone for a while, never got to see him in that relationship, but I know that he went dormant when that occurred. He turned into a recluse. I didn't see him posting on social media, which he's not, Gage, you've never been a social media person. It's just not your stilo. I get it.
I think Gage was actually at his peak on social media at that point, but in a different way. Like,
I would say what we talked about last week,
Yep.
where people were saying things that shouldn't have been said or letting people know their thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
I definitely, for like a good month straight, 2 months straight, was like just letting it all go.
I think you're being
But it
hard
was
on
just I
yourself on
couldn't
that,
control it.
I think
I
you're
feel
being
like
extremely tough
Gage
on yourself for that.
changed when he had Fila because he wanted to be such a good dad. He quit. That's when he stopped coming around as much, or that he always had something. It was not saying that he was doing the wrong thing, but like not. I felt like sometimes it was like, oh, we can't go see Gage because it's like, oh, I got Fila, and like I understand. Like I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I think there could have been a little bit better balance, and I think that changed him a little bit. I think you're a great dad, but I'm saying
100%.
I think it changed your personality a bit when you had him.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about when we started noticing.
I would say,
I say
mental health
that.
issues,
Well, when I say that's when he started changing, because I think that played a part, and I think it played a part in him in what made it all, like I feel like it was a part of it, and that like
right.
I feel like that's when he started separating a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. That was definitely part of it. I would say that was like the first step into me, like just wanting to be a good dad. And then that relationship happened in the middle of it. And then when that ended, I had to figure out how to be on my own, just on my own, and do everything, be just a dad by myself. And that's when it went to a different point, I would say, because it was just me and him like for a long time during that COVID and stuff, and all that depression and stuff. It was just, he was the one that was there, So of course when I can spend time with him, that's what I'm doing, because in my eye, he's the one like that matters most in the world. Like,
Yep.
I wouldn't give him up for anything.
Yep.
I don't know the exact date, don't know the exact time frame, but Tunes, when you finally said bye to music is when I emotionally felt that you changed completely into a different you went from the dream chasing, ambitious, artistic person that I knew. You never changed who you were, but your ambition towards one certain goal, and you switched over to being, all right, I need to just refocus my entire future on what I'm going to do next and how I'm going to, grab my next idea or even a new job or career or whatever. When you finally decided music's just not the end goal anymore, that's when you changed to me.
For me, Nick has had so many different phases of life. I can't pinpoint one.
Right. I was about to say the same thing.
I mean, he's had all these different phases of what he's gone through. I remember, like he said, the broke famous times, where we were literally in the studio. Nick didn't have a job. He was just in the studio, all in trap,
No money.
whatever you want to call
Trap.
it. Yeah. I mean, we were just every day. And I had a job. I had a dope schedule at the time. I worked 6 days in a row, and then I was off for 8 every 2 weeks. That's how my 2 weeks went when I worked for ABC. My boss was cool as hell and would give me 3 days at the end of 1 week and 3 days at the beginning of the next. And then I'd have 4 days off at the end of that one and 4 days off at the beginning of the next one. And I'd just be, off for 8 days every 2 weeks. It was just fantastic. As a 22-year-old, I was loving it. But we would be in the studio, and I knew if I was off, I was like, I know where Nick's going to be at Tay's in the studio. I mean, like,
we
I
built
knew where
that
he was.
studio.
Did you have a car? at the time?
No,
I don't think you had anything. Like,
anything.
you were literally in this spot in your life, and really, we were too young and dumb at the time to even pinpoint a depression at the,
Yeah.
later on, probably, I don't know, 6 months to a year later, he talked about it and be like, I think I've been going through a depression, like just a casual conversation. But when you look back on it now, knowing what we know now and the experience that we've had as an adult, which really honestly seems like a lot, but it's only been 12 years of adult experience for us.
Wow.
But knowing what we know now, it was most definitely a depression for sure. And then, when we came back from Cali, after we had, he had been working at fucking Applebee's. I mean, that'll put
Again.
anybody in a depression, right? For like the 5th time, honestly. I mean, literally,
For
that'll put
real.
anybody in a depression after working there that long. Gage can attest to that as well. That place is fucking bullshit. If y'all want to know I could do a fucking podcast on Rocky Mountain Applebee's that I know that Rocky Mountain Applebee's don't want me to put out.
You're gonna get killed for that one.
Yeah, I mean, damn, son. And I miss my people, my customers, most of them anyway.
No, yeah, both of y'all are right though. Because
I mean, so many times.
those like what I'm dealing with now is I feel like I'm stunted like 4-5 years because I was, like you said, headstrong on that one avenue that I said fuck everything else, like common shit, insurance, taxes. It ain't gonna matter because at the end I'm gonna be tunes.
Yep.
And so then I think Broke Famous was just kind of like I was seeing it and I was seeing and understanding like this ain't gonna be it. And then afterwards it was like, damn, now I'm like so far behind. I don't know how to fuck catch back up.
Yeah. See, I was about to agree with Peasy. I've known you for a long time, so I've seen you go through a lot of stages and different points that we're talking about. But during that Broke Famous time, something definitely happened. I would even almost say like the
That's when I
love
took
for the
acid.
music even left you after that came out. Almost like it almost stopped. Like it was still there, but not as much, right?
Yeah.
I knew it was done when you never dropped Muse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Broke Famous
Put so
was
much into that.
Broke Famous was so intrusive. If you know me,
$1 million.
Man,
and
go
you
back
guessed
and
the
listen to
second verse.
if you
Mal.
go back and you listen to it, it was so intrusive that I felt like
I felt
scared.
every song on that. I knew moments of those songs. I experienced moments of those songs, and
it was a fun time though.
Mhm.
Honestly,
it was fun.
It was the most fun depression I've ever experienced of one of my friends. We had a blast making that. We were like literally at my dad's crib. This is how young we were. We were at my dad's house in my closet, and we made like a little studio in there.
1254.
I mean, we just made like 4 songs that night. And I wasn't making music or doing anything. I was just there like ghostwriting and hyping him up. Like we're like, that's part. Like that's all I
It
did.
was fun, but
It was.
it was very intrusive music. It was like that was my soul. Like, and it was rough. The recording was rough. It matched it too. And then like
Zan painted a big picture of what you're going through.
yeah,
Take a shot, even though you know you shouldn't.
there was a lot going on at that time, and it was just
Yeah.
nothing came of it. Not a drop.
Yeah.
Not a show.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, man. I mean, that's one of those times where the public, we're getting off on a different track on this, but go ahead, Bauer. And then we're going to wrap it up because we've been going for quite some time.
Oh, true. Shoot, it's another music thing though. It's gonna be on the internet, and I gotta get my piece out, and I gotta say my piece. RTCW should have been a real thing. I mean, it is a real thing, but it should have been released and stamped and
See, that
signed.
was a whole
co-signed.
different. That was a whole different time too.
That was a car
That
ride.
whole thing was recorded at Gage's house, and like
Yeah.
one night on the couch. Like we had the laptop out on the couch. We didn't even have a studio set up. We was just handing the mic back and forth. Like we were holding.
That
it.
was like 5 of my first 6 songs that I did myself. Honestly, I made Gator with feet and I smashed that. That was probably the best verse I ever had. Honestly, that verse was fire.
Man, I was in Cali
But-
getting flooded with East Coast heat.
Yeah, I ain't tooting my own horn because I've never been extremely confident with the music.
But
But
also, I think if you look back on it, just as off topic, but why that stopped is because everybody wasn't together no more, and that's when
Yeah.
I thrived with music. I couldn't make music unless it had I had to have the environment, and we all got grown.
if we could go back in time, it'd be different.
You know,
Oh my God! If I knew what I knew now, I'd have bought 1,000 blank CDs and I would have handed them to.
Yeah,
I don't know at that gas station.
we'd be having a whole different talk about depression. We'd be depressed about millionaire things.
Yeah, and our podcast would get more than 45 views. But but that's a story for another day.
But everybody, if you need to seek help or
For
need
sure.
to talk, men. No offense, women. Y'all are
Women
also
too.
able to talk.
Yeah,
But men that feel insecure, scared, or you just feel that you're not able to talk, we are all different shades, sizes, places, success levels, down levels. Families would talk or get your stuff out there. Seek help. Do not feel alone.
hit us up. Hit us up.
Yep.
And if you make your homie feel any type of way for expressing how he feels towards you, you are a
Bitch.
fake ass friend. You a bitch.
Yep.
Your friend
And I'll
is
black
coming
your
at you,
eye.
don't chill with them, because you shouldn't be ashamed.
If anyone
express
ever
yourself.
calls you soft for how you feel, then you need to kick them to the curb.
Life is precious, man. And there's a lot of
it ain't
30s
even, you gotta
young.
smack them. It ain't even worth it because you're going to jail for 5 years now for that. Just leave them be. Just
Yeah.
leave them be.
Move on. Yeah, for sure. This could go on for another 2 hours probably, but maybe we'll have a part 2 later on. I'd love to do it. I'd like to get Jimmy's or Sturge's perspective
Shout
on
out to
this.
Sturge.
Yeah, shout out to
Handling his
Sturge.
things today.
Yep. We're recording this on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. A little late. Yep.
Yeah.
We love y'all. But yeah, like and subscribe.
Hit the notification bell.
We missed it last week. No one did it in your place. Hit the notification bell. I don't even think I said it. And hit us up, man.
Yeah.
Comment. And
Watch
let
our
us know.
video, man.
Yeah, for real. Maybe this one gets some views.
Yeah.
But we're not even tripping off the views. For real. This has been fun to make. It's been fun to transition into some real shit like this. So my mom is watching. I love you, mama. She always watches. Sorry, I cursed. Yeah. Hit us up.
NSFW episode.
Yeah, they all
No.
are at this point. We bleeped out like 3 curse words in the first episode, and past that, I think that was good.
Absolutely.
I gotta go
Yeah.
watch the Lakers show on HBO.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch.
And if
some-
you
gotta
want a
watch
county
this. We gotta come
t-shirt,
back.
hit up me or anybody in this circle or anybody
Yeah.
that has my last name. Just,
It's like this, but better.
yeah, just holler at me. I'll
Yeah.
give them to you.
We appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Peace out.
Hey.